Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well and doing great. Now, this video is all about how I landed my first job in recruitment coming straight out of university as a fresh graduate. So let's get straight into it. So at this point, I just graduated from university and I spoke to quite a few friends from my course and a lot of my fellow graduates. Now, they were all looking and interested in a career in marketing, but even prior to graduating, it's something that I researched myself. And it wasn't something I was too fond of myself in the beginning. The main reasons were mostly because even when you started, you would start as a marketing assistant. And then as you progressed, the only real time you'd earn some good money is when you became a marketing manager, a marketing director. And this could take you anywhere between sort of 7 to 10 years, most likely. So I clearly realized marketing isn't something that I will most likely be pursuing as a career. So as I continued with my search for looking for something that I could potentially go into, I ended up coming across recruitment. So there was actually quite a few things that influenced my decision to go into the recruitment industry. One of them being I had a cousin at the time of my A-levels when I was prepping for my exams. He was actually running his own recruitment company, and many times I would go to the office and sit there and actually watch him do his job. Now, I didn't pay much interest to it. However, I could see the gist of what he would do. And many times I would ask questions as to how recruitment actually worked. And it was pretty simple. Alongside this, I also had a friend at university. He was looking to go into the recruitment industry. So I had a good understanding of how the recruitment industry somewhat worked. So when I started looking for jobs, I started looking around the Buckinghamshire and Hertfordshire area mostly. At the time, I'll be honest guys, I was really looking for any job within recruitment as a trainee or as a resourcer, or just an entry-level position to get my foot through the door. My search was quite simple. I went on various job boards and just tried looking for an entry-level position into the recruitment industry. Now, I came across quite a few jobs, and every recruitment company tends to specialize in a certain sector, but more or less I was just looking into getting my foot through the door. So at the time I came across a vacancy for a company and they were looking for a graduate resourcer. Now, when I went through the job description, they didn't require much in terms of experience. More or less, they were looking for a motivated person who had basically good professionalism over the telephone and good verbal and communication skills. On the job description, having prior recruitment experience wasn't essential and it wasn't something that they needed at the time. Just a brief background about my experience. At the time, I had worked in retail, in fast food places. I had obviously done a lot of agency work as well, where I worked in the catering industry. But what really helped me get this job was when I worked in a market research company where I would conduct surveys. And one of the key things that I learned from this market research job was developing my telephone manner and being professional when speaking to people over the telephone. Like I said, guys, and I will cover this in another video, to get into a entry-level position in recruitment, you don't necessarily need to have a lot of experience. However, they do need you to come with certain characteristics and just good verbal communication skills. So my approach to this vacancy was quite simple. I didn't want to be like everyone else who would just simply apply on Indeed and submit their CV. What I wanted to do was actually ring the company up and speak to the director who would be in charge of the recruitment process for hiring this trainee resourcer, essentially. So what I did was I went on LinkedIn, I think at the time, or I simply rang the company up and I actually just asked for the person in charge who's actually recruiting for this position. So I actually got hold of the person at the time and I spoke to him and I mentioned to him, look, I've just graduated from university and I'm looking for a career in recruitment, essentially. And I highlighted a few things from my CV. I mentioned that I had obviously worked in a market research company, so I had some experience being on the telephone, and also I've worked in other different places, which made me a motivated person. So he was actually quite impressed by this. So he ended up calling me in for a face-to-face interview. Now, we'll cover this in another video, guys, just the interview process within the recruitment industry. But very briefly, it really depends on the role that you're going for, how senior or junior the role would be. But just for my one, it was quite simple. It would have been a telephone call. However, because I skipped the process by ringing the director in charge of that position, it kind of surpassed the whole telephone stage. So I ended up coming in for a face-to-face. But depending on the position you would apply for, whether it's a trainee consultant, a senior consultant, or a manager or director, it all varies, and the stages can all vary depending on this as well. So I went in for my face-to-face interview. Who I had in the interview was the director that I'd spoken to on the phone. It was quite a straightforward interview with the director. He mostly went through my CV and he went through the different experiences that I've had in my previous jobs. And then he asked me a few questions about the company and just why I wanted to get into the recruitment industry. After he actually left and was quite impressed, he called in one of the team leaders that I'd be working alongside, and then we had an informal chit chat, and he kind of went through very similar questions, but anything else that this team leader wanted to ask me, he kind of went through that himself. So after the team leader, it was actually one of the directors who also came in and just wanted to go through a few questions with myself as well. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being quite repetitive. It wasn't anything that would kind of catch me off guard. It was quite similar to just, why do you want to work in recruitment, and just recruitment related questions essentially. So after the interview, it looked quite promising. However, I was still a bit unsure as to whether I got the job or not. Now, like I mentioned to you guys, it really depends on the role that you're applying for. Some companies would maybe ask you to come in for another stage where you do a presentation, or you speak to one of the directors or the managing director of the company and interview with them. But it really depends on the role that you're applying for. And it is something that I will cover in depth in another video, hopefully, guys. So they came back to me, guys, after a couple of days, and they came back with a formal offer. I think at the time it wasn't much. However, I was very excited as it was my first job as a graduate. It was around 17,500 to 18K per annum. They did have a commission structure like most recruitment companies do. Joining the company was a very exciting time for me. There's a lot that I learned being at this company, and I will go through it in another video, hopefully with you guys, just the day in the life of a resourcer, trainee consultant, or 360 consultant, which covers everything. But essentially, a recruitment environment is very upbeat, it's very fast paced, and it is very cutthroat. You're expected to perform, you're expected to be an asset to the company who's bringing in money and making the company money at the end of the day. Now, you do have to work very hard depending on the company and the industry that you get. It is a lot of long hours, but you get to learn a lot along the way. The recruitment environment is in general very bubbly. Everyone is very friendly, and it's something I quite enjoyed myself, as I didn't really have a corporate hat on where I was pretending to be very professional all the time. You can really be yourself and have a good laugh with everyone that you work with. So something I felt like was important, guys, to mention was how I actually landed my job, guys, in recruitment was very much based on my approach to when I was applying, such as actually contacting the director in charge, and to do with my character more or less, because I know I'm quite a loud person and very energetic and very enthusiastic. And I know that me sitting in a desk, year on, year out, earning a certain salary per annum wasn't something that would excite me for longer than maybe 2 to 3 years. So I definitely knew when I looked into the recruitment industry, speaking to my friend, speaking to my cousin, that you can earn a lot, and it all depends on how hard you're willing to work. And so even though the basic salary that I got offered at the time wasn't much, it was only around 17 to 18K per annum with a 3 to 4% commission structure. But look, it was something I was still very excited about, as it was my first position, and I knew that it'd be a very good entry-level position, and it kind of helped me learn the graft of recruitment within this company. And having stayed in the industry is still something that I do look forward to. I do look forward to coming into work. It's still something that I'm really excited about as a job. I still get very happy when I get a placement. I hope you guys enjoyed my first video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. I will be posting regularly, guys, on this channel for anyone interested in the recruitment industry, whether you're a graduate looking to apply, whether you're someone looking to learn some skills and just understand the aspect of recruitment and what the role consists of. I'll definitely be covering all of these things, so stay tuned. If there's anything you guys would like me to cover from a recruitment aspect, please be sure to comment below and ask any questions. But thank you ever so much for watching, guys, and stay safe.